used to say, words couldn't hurt me. Videos, just my name, they getting thirsty. Go ahead and put him in a hearsay. It's getting murky, this time I deserve this. I'm ready for whatever war said. He been a matador, scared for the things I'm dreaming for.
All right. I know we are 3 minutes late, but if you ever thought I was going to be on time, then I don't know who you thought you were watching. Oh, it's evening time. Oh, it's tough. Judge Weinstein, how we doing?
Rossetti, I finally got on your show, huh?
Oh, man, the big DW. Well, I will say this.
Yes, sir.
There are two people that I have an affinity for,
Okay.
and you and Keith Adams are definitely those two.
Oh,
and now that Keith Adams is no longer here, he's not I have to be as verbose as possible and use my sonorous voice as well as I can.
Keith is my favorite cross-examination style.
Man, oh man, I gotta ask. We all want to know this question. When EJ went up there with the cross-examination of the expert and lambasted her, what went through your mind watching that?
Be careful. Be careful. I think he got some good results, and I think he didn't know the general rule about we don't mention each other's clients when we're doing a cross, but he got some good results, right?
Oh, he honestly, he took a lot of people. He took a lot of people with him as far as fandom goes. And I'm like, well, y'all do know that he did the opening statement, by the way.
Yeah.
So
he did.
Nobody knew it. Is this something, in the office that happens that's his style, or was he just passionate in that moment? Or
that's his style. That's his style. Yeah. When you see him cross-examine a witness, that is definitely his style. He is passionate. He gets to the point. He tends to be, I kind of vary my style somewhat within a range. He's kind of 120% all the time on cross-examination, but it gets him great results.
It definitely, I can say this, his tone was there, and that's one of the tones that I implore, because Adams does that a lot. When he comes on, is very brusque. It's just bam. And how we kind of seen it a little bit as far as just observers, the character that we give you is kind of the who's the guy? The Buddhist monk, that guy. Now, I can't never put the pictures up because he always has a shirt off and stuff. So that's how we kind of do it. It's kind of iron fist with a velvet glove kind of delivery that we kind of look at it as. I
try to treat people humanely, but get to my point. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do. Someone told me, I'm trying to remember whose it was, that I came across as disappointed dad, which wasn't my goal. I was trying to come across as a little more upset and offended by his previous statements to the cops, but apparently I just came across as disappointed dad. But I'll take it. It's okay.
It's not bad. That is not bad at all. I'll reconsider that, because we definitely love giving nicknames. Not Rachel Kaufman kind of nicknames, but
I love Rachel because Rachel will say all the stuff, and I say stuff, but Rachel will say the stuff that where I just won't go. Really can't go.
Yeah, she
they put me on a show with Rachel. I'm like, hey, Rachel, why don't you answer that question?
I seen that. I remember that. Yeah, that was interesting. So if we can go to your background a little bit before we kind of get into it, because one of the things that this trial has allowed to happen is, I call it deep diving.
Yeah.
Where we kind of go into the backstory of it all. I'm not sure if you've seen any of my deep dives on anybody as far as how we've done it over here.
Okay.
But so where did you grow up in, city-wise and all of that stuff?
I grew up in Jacksonville, Florida, which at the time I grew up there is very much like Southern Georgia, like Waycross, Valdosta, Brunswick. It's got that kind of feel to it. Yeah, I actually grew up with it. My family's been in the South forever and ever, since like 1850s or so, from Alabama. That's where my family comes from when they came to the U.S. And so been in Jacksonville a couple of generations. And I actually have my family has thick Southern accents, that South Georgia accent. I lost most of mine because I had a speech impediment as a kid. So they sent me for speech therapy. And that's where most of my Southern accent went away. But you'll hear me use like words and phrases because I grew up in the South. So I'm still going to say y'all, I'm still going to say, crawfishing out, ears off a donkey. I mean, the expressions I can't get. They're just in me.
I think you probably need to copyright that one as soon as you said it. Kentucky.
Oh, it's everywhere, man. I didn't invent that. I promise. So yeah, I grew up in Jacksonville, and then I grew up. My family was in like the retail business. They were kind of in sales, and then my father's store failed. It closed during the Carter administration, and I ended up. That's kind of what I was supposed to do with my life, but I ended up going to school and becoming an engineer. Yeah.
All right. So you technically didn't even start off as going to law school and all of that.
Never mind. No. So kind of like Adrienne Love is also an engineer. I think she's a civil engineer. So I'm an electrical engineer. I don't know that she ever practiced engineering, but I was an electrical engineer, and I worked at a steel mill in just outside Birmingham, Alabama, for 7 years. Like in the mill, hard hat, steel-toed boots with metatarsals, the whole thing. So I did that for 7 years, and then I went to law school.
What even convinced you to get into law school? That's kind of wild.
Yeah, I think this is all boring, but I'm happy to tell you about it. I went to law school because what happens when you're an engineer, most of the time, and it happened to me, is you get two things happen. One, if you're any good at it, you end up going into management and doing less and less engineering. And the other thing is the engineering that you do gets really focused, like very narrow. And I kind of just got bored. Like I knew everything there was kind of to know in that area of engineering. It wasn't experiencing a whole lot of change, and I just got bored. So I worked with some patent attorneys. I'm like, well, this looks a lot more interesting, right? You're always dealing with new stuff, inventions, new technology. You're always learning. Your mind always has to be going. So I'm like, I'm going to do that. So I went to law school, and I did that, like a lot of civil litigation about patents, about inventions. I did that for 20 plus years before I became a criminal defense attorney.
Because you started off civil, right? Is that accurate?
Civil, and I still do a little bit of civil.
Right.
I've got like a couple of cases now in federal court and in state court. I still do a little bit of civil, but because of this trial, I'm pretty much all criminal. And there's overlap. There are things you do in civil that you can still do in criminal. So you'll see me do a lot of stuff with motions because there's a lot of similarity in motion practice, like all that briefing and motions regarding disqualifying Judge Glanville. That is very easy to do if you're a civil litigator. That's just different law. You still, you cross-examine witnesses. Yeah, there's similarities. It's just a different area of law.
So hold on. Wait. You just slicked that one in there.
Yeah.
Basically taking it to Glanville. Yeah. So in that moment, I think that's when the whole entire trial stopped. And it was like the world stopped for a moment. We knew nothing. We had two judges come on and then go off, and then we got to Whitaker. Now, there was a motion, was the 403 that you put out as far as speeding it up and all that stuff?
Yeah, that was recently. That was a few weeks ago where I and everybody, including the judge, I think, felt that what the state was wasting a lot of time, right? So I've been bitching about the state wasting time and being inefficient since at least last spring.
Right.
I felt a big motion last spring to move this case along because Diamante's locked up. I mean, let's get this thing over with. Let's get our not guilty verdicts and walk out of here. He's at Rice Street. Let's move it. Anyway, Glanville didn't do much, even though he said he would. But yeah, so what happened was a few weeks ago, I tried to get the state to move along. They refused to do it. And basically, not in these exact words, but basically the judge invited me. She's like, well, I guess you'll have to just do your 403 objections one by one. So that day I just started doing 403 waste of time objections. She sustained them. I think she sustained 21 out of 25 in the morning.
Right. Yeah. No, that's very true. She's that motion has been the one where it's kind of like, all right, well, it looks like we're not going to be taking 5 breaks today to walk a dog. So yeah, that definitely powered in as far as how the rest of the public looks. Because at first, from how other lawyers said it, they said that you would need to essentially see everything, but it seems as though there were still motions that need to be had. And so with it saying that, they were essentially saying, technically he used it wrong, but he didn't. This is something that he has to keep punching in, and you just basically explained it right there.
Yeah, I mean, I tried to deal with it all with one swoop, and the state wasn't having it, so I had to do it one by one. And she just kept asking questions that had already been answered that we didn't need to know the information. But what I think a lot of people on the stream, if something's coming in the case and it's kind of boring, or, people go like 403, 403, 403. And I think what folks that watch this trial don't understand, I mean, I've done this for, how long have I been doing this? 26 years. And before this case, the number of times I had to object at trial under 403 waste of time, maybe once or twice. It's very unusual to have to make that objection. And even it just doesn't happen. So that was an unusual situation. And it's because of the state taking forever.
I think you kind of took hold on the string when Glanville had said something to you, and you, in effect, said, well, Your Honor, I would have even tried this in the case. I wouldn't even try to RICO with this many individuals on it. And they told you basically to watch yourself. Oh, and you have this stance right here. I said, yeah, he's going to jail. So yeah. How was the energy as far as Glanville goes? Oh, I got along with him great right up until the point where I filed a motion to disqualify him. We got along really well. I like Judge Glanville. As everyone will say, and I got a lot of criticism for, I defended him for a long time. I tried to give him the benefit of the doubt for a long time. Because he has a great reputation. Everyone I know has had good experiences with him before this trial. I tried to give people the benefit of the doubt, and it was just one too many things. But we got along fine before this. He did get into me. I guess I was bitching and moaning that I wanted the witness to have to look my client in the eyes when they were testifying, because if someone like Kenneth Copeland got up on the stand and started to lie about Diamante, I wanted him to have to lie to his face. You know what I mean? You're going to get up there and say a bunch of crap about Diamante. I want you to have to look at him. So that's where Glanville and I got into it briefly. I don't know. You may not even remember that. I don't even know if that was streamed when we were trying. No, it definitely wasn't. We got into it a little bit before the jury was seated, because I wanted, and I have a constitutional right for my client to be able to have a line of sight to the witness box. So he said, give me a solution or something like that. And I said, yeah. And then that's when problem. Yeah. I'm like, it's not my problem. I'm not the one to indict 28 people and put 14 on trial. So, and then
He got up. Yeah, he got upset. He's like, "Well, you're going to bitch about it. You need to give a solution." Which maybe he was right. I have no idea. But he did get a little testy with me. But we were good before and after that until I asked him to disqualify himself.
He did a total recall right there. Yeah, that's exactly. Yeah, that's as it happened. Yeah, that's true. And I was like, "Oh, wait a minute, hold on, wait a minute."
You better be. You lied to his face. And notice Fulton didn't lie on the stand. So, as far as I'm concerned, it works.
Yeah, nah, that works. Now it's been good. I wanted to ask you this: how important is the quote unquote bloggers, the outside media, the opinionists? I won't say myself, but other channels. How important are they to the case?
You include yourself too. I mean, I don't have an answer that I know for sure. But I firmly believe that shining a light on this case, showing what's going on in this case, the stream, the people that watch on the stream, the protests we've had recently, I have got to believe that seeps into the DA's office, that it gets into the judge has to see it. Does it affect her? I don't know, but it's very hard to ignore the public outcry at the injustices people have seen in this case. And, people are going to say it to me again, but I think Judge Whitaker is doing a great job. I was saying it before she sentenced Jeffrey. So this isn't a new thing with me. She will rule against me at times. That's going to happen with any judge. It doesn't mean that I should move to disqualify them. It doesn't mean they're biased. But I'm not going to win every motion. I'm not going to get every objection sustained. And as long as she considers, really considers it and gives a ruling, I mean, I'm okay with that. She said, she's all these people that say that she's no different than Judge Glanville. Come on. Take a look.
They're new here. They're new here because I will say something that you actually said as well.
Yeah.
I was with Glanville. And then it started to kind of get to a point where you could see the agitation because it was like, don't challenge me kind of thing, because we know he's the head judge. So it's one of those things where it's like, you're not a regular judge, essentially. In that power, it just seemed to me, just outside looking in, it might have got to him at one point in time.
Yeah, he certainly had some attorneys he I think clearly didn't care for. Like, he didn't like Max from day one, which is, to me, just crazy, because Max didn't do anything to earn that from Judge Glanville. But for whatever reason, he took an instant dislike to Max. I mean, I kind of get it. Max is not a likable guy, but he's a judge. You got to put aside the way that Max Sharp behaves sometimes and his general attitude. But he's a judge. You got to overlook all of Max's fault, which takes a lot of work, but he shouldn't have been able to do that. But he took an instant dislike. He took an instant dislike before he had any reason to take a dislike. And I don't get it. It may have been Thugger Daily. Someone posted the very first interaction they had that was streamed, where the judge just was like, bang. But anyway, he didn't like him for another reason that's a mystery to me. I don't think he cared for Carrington Matthews. And Carrington Matthews, Mr. Matthews, I always call him Mr. Matthews because he's kind of so respectable, and I don't know, but I always call him Mr. Matthews. But he seemed to dislike Mr. Matthews, which is, again, just a mystery to me.
We definitely seen the disdain for Max, because he had at one point in time said, "Thank you, Your Honor." And then Glanville was like, "Don't say that again." And it was like, what? Because he denied a motion. And then he said, "Thank you, Your Honor." He said, "Don't say thank you, Your Honor." So I think he tried to see it as condescending, but majority of people didn't take it as condescending.
Max did absolutely nothing against, well, I've not seen him do anything against any judge. And Glanville liked me. So sometimes other attorneys would be like, "Doug, you make this motion. You stand up and say that," because he kind of likes you. So at least he did until the end.
We kind of seen that with Max. Every motion you guys make, as far as group wise, he's the one that goes up to Paige, and we kind of seen that a little bit. So when you say that she's not Glanville S, how did you feel about her saying to the state then, I'm trying to clean up your mess?
You know, I know your sloppiness, I believe. Your sloppiness, right?
Yeah.
You know, I know people criticized her because it was not your job to clean up the sloppiness of the state, and I get it. I think she meant it more as a criticism of the state, like yet another criticism of the state. It really looks like she is just over the prosecution, right? She is just over them. And I think my theory is that it's because she's a former prosecutor, and as a former prosecutor is embarrassed by the way they're putting this case on. It's clear that when she puts a case when she put a case together as a prosecutor, she had everything lined up before the case started. She was ready to go. She knew her witnesses. She knew the evidence that they were going to present. And the state has been, it appears that they've been putting this together on the fly. And that's what it looks like to Judge Whitaker. And I think that's why, as a former prosecutor, she's just kind of embarrassed by it.
I mean, essentially, the representation of Fulton County in the justice system, it should seem polished, we would think. And to be fair, the former administration with Paul Howard had a chance to do this, and they said no.
And the reason Paul Howard has all but said it when he's been interviewed is, and he hasn't said this exactly, but this is what he implied. He didn't bring it because the witnesses were not credible, right? And you have to assess the credibility of your witnesses. And that seems to be why he did not bring it. And I think that the truth of that has been played out because their witnesses, they've had to impeach how many of their own witnesses? How many?
And that was, to me, that was insane. Yeah, that was insane. And I didn't even like the fact that, because correct me where we're wrong, because I play a lawyer on YouTube. I'm not a real one. Couldn't you essentially meet with the judge and then let the judge know I'm going to, the hell's it called when y'all meet the judge?
Confer? No.
Meet at the bench. Basically, when you guys meet at the bench.
Yeah.
To me, I would think like, hey, shouldn't we say this to the judge and the other attorneys and then get on with the impeachment? Or is that something that you have to say?
They do it on the fly. They usually just do it on the fly when they impeach their own witnesses. They don't need any approval from the judge. Now, they do need approval from the judge to treat their witnesses as hostile.
Right.
And you see them get that, but they don't do it from the bench. They do it out in open court. I don't know. Yeah, and you're right about Paul Howard. So I think Paul Howard has been proven right.
Yeah, many times over, and it's more than likely going to last.
I mean, they've had two high-profile cases, right? DA Fonnie Willis, the Trump case and this case, both RICO. And I would suggest that neither case has gone well for them. And I think they really screwed up the Trump case. Yeah.
But, that's our MO is the RICO. And I can't remember the judge, the first woman judge on the Georgia Supreme Court. And she spoke about RICO and how much power it has. It has more power. The Georgia RICO has more power than the federal RICO, it seems, from what she said.
Yeah, it's more broadly written.
Right.
There are more criminal acts that you can use in your RICO case, more acts that you can use them federally. And the conspiracy part of the statute is broader than the federal one. So Georgia's RICO conspiracy statute is very broad. It's very advantageous for prosecutors. PAC-GA, the organization of prosecutors in Georgia, pushes the advantages of using RICO because you can tell the whole story. But I think it is clearly a mistake for the government to indict so many people for RICO. Like, if you think my client, Diamante Kendrick, if you think he did that to Donovan Thomas, then charge him with that and let's have a trial. You know, if you think, you know, he's responsible for a machine gun found at the home Jeffery Williams was sharing with a dozen other people, charge him with that and let's have a trial. But these RICO things are sprawling, they're unwieldy. You've got jurors, you know, dealing with this stuff for a year plus. You've got defendants locked in jail for years. It just makes no sense. Just try them for the crimes that you think they've committed. I'm happy to do that. And by the way, if you think there's a RICO issue, the way that it was intended was RICO was intended to go after the top guys of an organization who they themselves don't get involved in any of the dirty work.
Right.
So you use RICO against those top people. You don't indict an entire alleged organization because you see the situation here.
So, question to you on the hot mic subject, because we've seen a lot of physicality out of each other with the prosecution team. And how the judge was able to hear the custodian, I forget what her name is, but could not hear Gaither on the stand saying all of those things. Hot mic in the courtroom. Can you all hear it?
We can't hear the same stuff you guys can hear on the stream because oftentimes that mic on the stream, I don't know where they're getting the feed for the mic on the stream, but y'all will hear stuff that we do not hear. And I'll see it pop up on the stream is how I'll first hear it. And then, so we have the defendants especially are pretty far away from the witness stand. The judge is pretty close, but she's at a pretty good height. So I can see how if someone is turned to the jury, she may not be able to hear what they say. It's entirely possible she doesn't hear certain statements. You're not buying it? You're not buying it? I can't hear them from where I was sitting, but I was kind of far away. The judge is close.
I'll buy that igloo that you sell in Duval County first.
I don't think she's lying when she said she didn't hear that.
I feel like I know when I've been had, so I'll
Judge Glanville,
I'll listen to your word.
I don't know if you remember when Woody was testifying, the part that got eventually thrown out. But when Woody was testifying, Mr. Matthews and I both saw this big old member of law enforcement sitting at the glass door near the back of the courtroom, just glaring at Woody. I mean, really staring him down in a very intimidating fashion. And it didn't get picked up on camera. You can't see that on camera. And Mr. Matthews stood up and said something to the judge. And the judge is like, well, if you don't know his name, there's nothing I can do. I didn't see it. He goes, Judge Glanville said, well, let me just put on the record that I have a better view than Mr. Matthews and I didn't see it. So then I'm like, well, I'm not going to let Mr. Matthews like hang out in the wind because I saw it too. So I spoke and I said, like, Your Honor, I saw it too. He was sitting back there just giving the eye to Mr. Copeland. And the judge is like, oh, from where you're sitting, he's behind you. How can you even see? And I asked the judge if he was calling me a liar. I think I flat out said it. And he backed off. Of course, we'd already had our tense moment when I'd asked him to disqualify. So I had nothing to lose.
He did say, he did say, when you brought up to dismiss, to recuse himself. And he said, "Are you sure? Are you sure with the aura that's around?" And he kind of acted like, "I don't feel anything." I was like, "Oh shit!"
He tried to intimidate me, I guess, and honestly, it was a little scary, right? I'm not going to lie. To get up in court, go to the podium, and tell the judge they need to recuse themselves. The recusal in Georgia requires that you give the recusal motion physically to the judge. Physically, you hand it to him. So I handed it to him. I guess he took a break. He comes back and he tells me it's denied because I want him to be recused because of an order he gave, some ruling, which wasn't the case at all. But yeah, it's very intimidating to go tell a judge they need to recuse themselves.
And then there was four things that had to be incorporated, and then essentially he went through, and I think you went 1 for 4.
He ignored the whole rule on what you have to do with recusal. He just ignored it. Then he didn't want me to speak, and I kind of forced myself to speak because honestly, I was trying to help the court and say, look, here are the things you need to do. Once that is determined, you're out of the picture. You got to give it to another judge to make that, like Krause. You got to give it to another judge to make that determination. And he just didn't follow the rule. So when I petitioned the Supreme Court and they turned me down, it wasn't like the one sentence turned down that I was expecting. It was several pages. There was basically a roadmap that said, okay, here's what needs to happen. And then what did I do? I guess I filed another petition in Fulton County. And that's when he said, okay, I'm going to step back and give it to another judge to decide, which is what he should have done weeks earlier.
Maybe the after court cigars, maybe that's what happened. They kind of got him to namaste kind of thing. Because we just
I have my own theory on what happened that got him to back off, which is that when these things happen, he gets represented by an attorney from the state attorney general's office. My guess, and this is pure guess, is that attorney told Judge Glanville, you probably did this procedure wrong. It's probably best for all involved if you step aside and let another. He probably said something like, I don't think you did anything wrong, but go ahead and give this to another judge to make that call.
If we could revisit the day that basically, I think, put this case on the map.
Mm-hmm.
When Brian Steele was going to go to jail.
Yeah.
What was it like in that courtroom at that moment for you in particular?
I was angry, actually, which is something I very, very, very rarely get. I was angry because the judge had shifted. And by the way, I knew about it too. I was in the meeting where Brian learned about the secret meeting with the judge. And Brian is the one that stepped up, of course. I was angry that the judge wasn't focused on the real issue, which was the fact that this meeting took place, and instead was deflecting the way a child would do if they were caught doing something naughty. Who told you? Who told you? That's not really the issue, who told Brian Steele. The issue is, let's talk about what you did and whether that was proper.
Right.
And for the judge's reaction to be, who told you? If you won't tell me, I'm going to lock you up. And then to lock up Brian Steele, and then to not follow the proper procedure to find Brian in contempt, and then to mangle civil versus criminal contempt. And Brian, I have the absolute utmost respect for, not just as an attorney in his legal skills, but professionally, ethically. I have never in 26 years met a more honorable, ethical attorney. And so to make accusations against him was offensive to me. So I was pretty hot about it. I hope I didn't display it. I don't have much of a poker face, but I just sat there, but I was pretty hot. And I when court began the next day, I was trying to decide what to do. Am I going to not stand when he enters the courtroom? Am I not going to address him as Your Honor anymore? And my coworker, Katie Hingerty, who you see in court sometimes, she said, no, you respect the position. You respect the position. So you're going to stand, you're going to call him Your Honor, not because of him, but because of the position that he holds. So that's what I did.
Yeah, because we started to notice that that word, the honorable, just disappeared after a while. And it was very interesting to see. One of the things that a lot of people just kind of speculate on, and I tooted my horn a little bit, even though in these interviews, they really don't want me to talk about myself ever. Do you guys watch the YouTube reaction channels at all to see what's going on?
Are you talking about like the live streams on YouTube of what's going on as it's going on?
Sure, we can add that one in too. But I'm talking about the recaps.
Oh, sometimes I'll watch the recaps. Sure. There's a number of TikTokers I'll watch the recaps on. And then all of us think I don't know about I personally will watch some of the recaps at night. Especially, I'm not a lawyer, but I think she does. Mel does
an amazing job.
Amazing job. Recapping. She boils it all down. She's great. So I like her recaps. If I'm not in court for some reason that day, if someone's filling in for me, I always watch her recaps. And then, but my client Diamante doesn't watch those. We will watch the stream, and we will watch the comments in the stream.
Interesting. All right,
all of us.
So because there was a thing that shout out to AV to the 7 Power. She's on the lead attorney. I appreciate them. She said something, and we didn't hear you say it. We don't know if you kind of waited on it or that was one of the things that you kind of picked up too about the cell phone data, essentially not putting Diamante where the alleged crime against him happened. So I noticed that she was the first person to say it, and then we didn't hear you say it that day. But I think it was 2 more. I'm missing the word right now.
I was debating whether to bring it up or let it lie and save it for closing. They don't have any cell phone data from Diamante Kendrick that puts him anywhere near the murder of Donovan Thomas, the McDonald's that everyone allegedly met up with after, at Jeffery Williams' condo, the Sky House. They don't have anything that shows him there.
I think Shannon didn't show up in there as well. I'm fairly certain.
I think that's right.
Yeah, I don't think he showed up to the Donovan Thomas murder party that they said that they had. I'm not making light of I'm not making light of the situation. I just think that the state did a horrific investigation into the murder of Donovan Thomas, and now it's one of the things where you're just trying to see what sticks, essentially off of hearsay from 2 very known liars.
Well, admitted liars.
Yeah.
Admitted liars. So if I can ask, and let me ask you a question. You've watched this thing. Who do you think killed Donovan Thomas?
Yo.
I know who I think killed Donovan Thomas.
Oh.
I know who Brian Steele said in opening killed Donovan Thomas.
Yo, I can't answer that. Yeah.
You remember who Brian Steele said in opening killed Donovan Thomas?
Nah, don't. Remind me, please.
He puts it on Woody.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't think he has it in him, but I don't know.
I don't know. Or did Threat do it? I don't know. All they got.
I'm not gonna live that one down.
What do they have on Diamante Kendrick? What do they have on Diamante Kendrick? They got 2 people that have admitted lying, who in their lies to the cops claim Diamante admitted it to them.
Right.
Actually, one of those is like double hearsay. Then they got no fingerprints. They got no video. As a matter of fact, what do they have him leaving the Texaco in? A damn Pontiac. What happens? Does he magically transport into the infinity? Nobody has him moving from the Pontiac into the infinity, you know?
And you know, one of the things I wanted to ask you about that with the double hearsay, because that's what it sounded like Woody has said essentially to the police was double hearsay. Am I accurate in that?
Well, Woody, now I got to remember because I've been working for 2 days, so I'm exhausted. I can't remember what exactly he says. I don't remember if he
said Little D told him, right?
Little D told him, right? So that is hearsay. But Little D told Woody that. But it's a hearsay exception because Little D is a co-conspirator. So it's a hearsay exception. But yeah, that's kind of double hearsay. Woody.
Yeah, because he's saying that
Oakland who tells the cops.
Yeah, it's Lil Woody gets told by Lil D. Lil D is essentially told by Shannon. And I thought that was textbook double hearsay, but
yeah, the thing is you get and it is multiple hearsay, but if you can get the hearsay exceptions,
right,
chain the hearsay exceptions together. And that's kind of how they get there. But you know, it's crazy because it's like the state is constantly about people going, well, they're an unindicted co-conspirator, and that's their way of getting a lot of hearsay in. Oh, this
can you layman's term that for people? Can you layman's term that for people?
Sure. So hearsay can't come in, right? You can't bring hearsay into trial, but there's a lot of exceptions. And one exception is if you're a member of this conspiracy, and
right, if
the statement that was made is in furtherance, like it advances the conspiracy. So the state, especially in front of Judge Glanville, would go, well, yeah, that person said it, but they're an unindicted co-conspirator. Now, they hadn't proved he's an unindicted co-conspirator yet. They just say, we're going to show that mom, girlfriend, whoever the hell it is an unindicted co-conspirator. And we'd point out, well, they hadn't been shown to be that. And he's like, well, we're going to let it in and hope, eventually they'll show it. And if they don't show it, we'll deal with it then. But meanwhile, the jury's already heard it. And this business about unhearing shit, excuse my language, you got me wound up. This business about unhearing stuff, give me a break. So you can't unhear stuff. So they use the co-conspirator thing. The other thing Judge Glanville always forgot, which Judge Whitaker always remembers, is you just can't get everything in because a co-conspirator says it. It has to be in furtherance of the conspiracy. So if you're just like, it's got to advance the conspiracy. And Judge Whitaker, she makes them show that if they want to get it in. And that's the way it should have been all along. Judge Whitaker knows the law. She knows the rules of evidence. She knows the law. If she doesn't know it, she'll look it up, but she knows criminal cold. She was an appellate lawyer for years, and it is a joy to have a judge that really is in a lot of ways is a scholar.
All right. I will say this. I will say this. Since you've been in that courtroom.
Get rest. Go ahead. I'm just reading your comments.
Well, I want to ask you this. I don't even want to say this. I want to ask you this. Since you have your Southern roots, and since you've been in that courtroom with the Honorable Paige Reese Whitaker, have you added the word y'all into your daily speak at least 2 times more?
I always say y'all all the time. I mean, that's not something I didn't have before. So I haven't changed that. Does she say y'all? I don't even hear it because I say it. I don't hear it. So if you guys want to hear my Southern accent, here's what you need to do. When this trial is over, we're all going to go to Mike's Karaoke over at 285 and Peachtree Industrial. When I sing, my Southern accent comes back. So we'll go do that. But I sing all the time.
We talking old school country? Is that what we talking about? Like Juice Newton, Statler Brothers, and
I sing
Dolly Parton?
everything. No matter what I sing, my country accent comes back.
So can you sing "Gangsta's Paradise" by Coolio in a country accent?
I can't sing that. I can't sing that song. That's not one of my go-to tunes. That's not one of my go-to tunes.
Have you? I don't want to say it in more to make you a fan of it, but have you been paying attention to Diamante's alter ego, YAK Gotti, the rapper? Have you listened to a lot of his music as of late?
I have. So let me tell you, I mean, I'm just honest about it. I never listened to rap music before this at all, you know, or hip hop. I can remember I was a college radio DJ back in the early 80s. And I remember one of the guys I had a show with, he brought in some Houdini. And he's like, this stuff is going to be big one day. And I'm like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? This must have been, I don't know, 82, 83. I can't even remember. And damn if he wasn't right. So anyway, yeah, I don't really listen to it that much. When it crosses over to pop, I'll hear it. But yeah, and like, I'd never heard Take It to Trial before they played it in court. And damn, that's a great song. I mean, that song has a hook. That song has a hook. Well, no. I heard Take It to Trial before because of Discovery. I knew it was in Discovery. I'm thinking of Lifestyle. I'm like,
all right. Because Take It to Trial, if that's the song you like,
I like Take It to
Trial.
Trial.
As a lawyer, you should love that song. I'll be fair. As a lawyer,
and I love Lifestyle. I love Lifestyle. Part of me,
yeah, we seen you all vibing to it.
I wanted to ask. Part of me wanted to ask Jeffrey, what in the world are you mumbling there at the beginning of that? But then I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know if I want that to go away.
Yeah, he's definitely an enigmatic person with his voice. So yeah, it's very, I don't know. Some of the stuff that he says makes no sense, but it's the way in which he says it that we can sort of appreciate it, but it leaves more to be said.
So I had a whole conversation with him the other day about mumble rap. So I'm like, is what you do mumble rap? I said, I heard some people talking about mumble rap. Is that? He's like, no, which is okay. Because I thought, anyway.
Yeah, a lot of balls to say that, by the way, Doug, to ask him is what he does mumble rap. That's it. Yeah.
He insults him. He's such a nice guy. He would never tell me. But I was wondering because I'm a huge REM fan, right? Because of my age, big REM fan. And in their first couple of albums, you can't understand the damn word the lead singer Michael Stipe says. It's all mumbling, and it's because he has a lisp and he was self-conscious about his voice. But I thought, okay, there you got a band out of Athens. You got Jeffrey coming out of Atlanta. Maybe it's a whole Georgia thing. Dissing Thug. Oh my God, I don't mean to diss Thug. Don't say that. Now I feel bad. I hope I didn't do that. I didn't mean to insult him.
No, it's just that
ignorance to him.
No, it's not necessarily that. It's just basically how it sounds as far as mumble rapper is just kind of like lethargic at best.
Oh yeah, well, there's nothing lethargic. I asked him the other day how he remembers all those words. I said, "Do you remember all those?" Because these songs have a lot of words in them, right?
Right.
I mean, a hell of a lot of words. Yeah, I mean, he knows them all.
They wanted to know how you felt about Halftime.
I like it. I mean, it's funny though, because it's just like it's really expanded my music listening choices. Like the other night I was driving and I put on I sound like grandpa now. I put on Tupac. I never would have listened to Tupac, right? Yeah. So I'm sitting there listening. I'm like, you know what? This is okay. I get it.
Do you know what song it was?
What's that?
What song was it?
Playlist. It was like an Apple playlist.
There's a song, it'll hit you like coffee in the morning by Tupac called Can't See Me.
Okay.
And I'll leave it at that. It's the word see, it's can't and then see me.
Okay.
And if your legs start moving after that, then you might have a little California in your blood. I'll just put it that way.
Okay. See, I try to be open to all kinds of music. Sometimes it just takes a little work to get it in there. Like I lived in Taiwan for 10 years. All right. So when I was over there, I really got into like Taiwan Mando pop, like Chinese pop music. And there's actually a rapper kind of hip hop guy over there I love named, you guys all look him up and listen. His name is I can't remember. I'm blanking now. I'll think of it in a second. Anyway, I want you guys to go listen to him. I played some for Diamante. He didn't think that highly of it.
He will when he get out. I guarantee you that one.
Yeah. I said when you get out, you need to go do like a joint thing with this guy.
Nah, that'd be great. Yeah, because
MC Hot Dog. MC Hot Dog. Okay, go look up MC Hot Dog and listen to I think the English translation is I Love Taiwan Girls. Wa Ai Tai Mei. Go listen to Wa Ai Tai Mei. There's like a spinner's track that's underneath it. Okay, stop making the faces. Let's talk about something. Help me, bail me out of talking about music.
Hey, listen, MC Hot Dog.
I'm an open book.
Listen.
I'm 60 years old. I don't care what people think about me anymore. I'm just going to talk and say what I want to say.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, look at that.
No, they want me to tell you to listen to Dear Mama by Tupac, which is a very good one.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure that Yak would like, yeah, he probably has that same kind of, as far as affinity towards his mom with that song that encapsulates a lot of younger males growing up in that song right there. Definitely, for sure.
I mean, one of the reasons that I'm hot on this lyrics issue, as you've seen in court,
right?
If you've seen me interviewed, and I've done motions on it, and I've argued it. There's a number of reasons for it. I mean, reason number 3 is I listened to a ton of punk music when I was younger, and that stuff is pretty damn violent. And people talked about how it's terrible for the community and all that other crap, and we all turned out just fine. You know, it didn't hurt us. I mean, I guess you can see some boomers that are defective, but you know,
you can
music.
Because before that, who the heck was the Brits that Michael Jackson bought their catalog? They were supposed to tear the United States a whole entire new one. The Beatles. Remember, the Beatles were supposed to be this dangerous group, and what they were talking about. No. But I know the Beatles from just going back like historically, all of this stuff and the immense licentious lyrics that they had at that time.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's one of those things that kind of jumps out a little bit as well, as far as what it's supposed to do and poison the youth, when in all candor, it's not that at all. It's really the lack thereof.
Yeah. I mean, and I mean, I loved oh, God Save the Queen. I'm sorry. I'm just so tired. I'm blanking out on stuff. The Sex Pistols. I love the Sex Pistols. I love the Ramones. The Ramones predate punk a little, but all this crazy music from back then, and people were just horrified by it. So we'll survive it. Every generation thinks the next generation's music sucks, and I've worked hard to try to not become that person.
Good, yeah, nah, we definitely appreciate that. But I don't know. I'm phasing out.
I love the Jam. Someone mentioned the Jam. I'm a big fan of the Jam. They went very pop toward the end. But that's okay.
So back to the case. What's there's some motions that are lingering right now that are important. Are we doing a motions-based thing tomorrow, or
no? We got a jury coming in at 9. We hit the road running tomorrow. She's got to read them a jury instruction about where the hell did everybody go.
Right.
We have a few preliminary things to take care of between 8:30 and 9, but I think folks will see a jury at 9 or 9:15 tomorrow.
I wanted to ask you this, and I don't know if you can comment on it. You can pull a me on you.
Mm-hmm.
The good faith base in the plea negotiations of what just happened.
Yeah.
To me, I think Yak and Diamante and Shannon I think you guys got the short end of the stick. Is that fair to say?
I don't know if that's fair to say. There were just aspects of the plea that were offered to Diamante that were just, we absolutely were not going to do. Okay. I'm not going to go into details, but there were things that we just would not do, period. And the state refused to change that. And here we go. Here we go. We'll let a jury decide it. Negotiations were slow and cumbersome. The state always took a long time to get back to us on things. And it's because they have one decision maker over there on plea deals in this case, and that's Madam DA Fani Willis. So I think the fact that she had to be that decision maker slowed things down. I think it's the reason it dragged as long as it did.
Well, she had her birthday in Vodka, allegedly.
Birthday, or 3 birthday parties, I guess. So she had to do that. She's going to win in a landslide, by the way, to all you viewers that think there's any chance that the Republican can win in Fulton County. Why are you turning around? Have you been telling people that and nobody's listening to you?
Yes, I have. And I told Ms. Kramer, I could get you this. I could get you this. This wouldn't even be hard to do. But she didn't want to listen. I've seen it freaking happen to Meg Whitman and Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it just,
I don't know. We can talk after the election, but I mean, I was an official in the Democratic Party for years in Democrats Abroad, which is the organization within the Democratic Party that the Democrats who are living overseas belong to.
Right.
I don't see any way a Republican running for DA in Fulton County has a snowball's chance in hell of winning.
Her same side competitor got blown out the water. So first off, you're appealing to people who are not even in Georgia. That part right there.
Well, everyone following this trial needs to get real about something, which is that most of Fulton County doesn't give a damn about this case, doesn't care about anybody on trial right now, doesn't care. They're just going to walk in the voting booth and they see an incumbent Democrat and they're just going to vote for that person, knowing nothing about what they've done or haven't done. That's the case. I mean, when I go in and I am voting for the commissioners of DeKalb County, I don't know anything about what the commissioners of DeKalb County do. I don't have the bandwidth to learn about everything going on. I just don't. Most people don't. So I just vote for the Democrats on the commission, unless I've heard something. And I think a lot of people just do that. They don't have the resources, interest, or time to investigate everybody running for whatever office and decide one by one, okay, that person's good, that person's no good. Maybe for the mayor, for governor, but Secretary of Agriculture, Secretary of State, which is a hugely important position. And we're fortunate to have a good Republican in there now, Raffensperger. But people don't pay attention. So maybe you have some magic you could have pulled. I would like to have seen it.
I'm telling you, Doug.
All right.
I'll talk to you in 2 years. There are. You
can come on board as my campaign manager.
No, I could. I promise you, I could do it. I've come with some fire before, so it's
part of the problem. We're all part of the problem, unless you're going to sit there and investigate each individual person.
Oh my goodness. So since you're reading the chats, let's see some of these super chats. Do you think Glanville would have sent Jeffery Williams to jail?
Can I speak freely? Fuck yes. He'd have sent Jeffery Williams to jail. But I'll tell you this. I don't think anyone would have been insane enough to do a blind plea in front of Judge Glanville. You remember, what did Judge Glanville do when he revoked Unfunk?
Oh, he lambasted him. He
the full 10 years.
Yeah.
The full 10 years. I know you guys are all over Whitaker for revoking Muntunk, but I think she, and look, that's a whole different issue, but you think Glanville would have only given Muntunk 5 years? This is the man that I don't know. Yeah, so I don't think there'd have been a blind plea. I have no inside information on that, but I don't think there'd be a blind plea in front of Judge Glanville.
That would have been insane.
My feelings.
Yeah, nah, that well, she said something that I thought made the most sense. She basically said, look, you guys are willing to let him out anyways. All the plea deals that I've seen, each one had him walking out of the courtroom today. Yeah. So obviously the stuff that you said about him isn't all the way true. If you were willing to let him go now, especially on a case that's continuing with witnesses, the witness list that he has, and all of this stuff from the BS that you spewed prior.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, Muntunk got on the stand, and someone said Muntunk got on the stand, he told the truth, right? But because the truth on the stand differed from those factual acknowledgments that the state wrote for him 2+ years ago, when he's trying to get home to his dying mom out of Rice Street, he's going to jail. It doesn't feel right to anybody, It doesn't feel right to anybody. And this is the whole, our justice system is so messed up, man. I mean, they use confinement in jail, as they being the DA's office, as leverage on plea deals. That's not why you're supposed to be held in jail. You're supposed to be held in jail without bond if you're a risk of flight to not show back up in court. You're a danger to the community. You're a risk of intimidating witnesses, or you're a risk of reoffending on the charge they got you in on. That's the only 4 reasons. And if you can't show one of those 4 reasons, you're supposed to be granted bond. That's it. That's the Georgia law. Now you tell me, Jeffery Williams, let's just talk about Jeffery Williams. All the special conditions that Brian Steele proposed for Mr. Williams: house arrest, no communication with anybody, paid for security to make sure he doesn't go anywhere. All these things. You consider all of those, and how do you find Jeffery Williams to meet any of those 4 things? You don't. So it's just, he should have been granted bond. And the reason he took that plea, you heard Brian Steele say it. I'm not talking out of turn. He took that plea because he had to get home to his kids. Well, if he'd have been out on bond, he could have taken this all the way to a jury verdict and probably walked out of there as things were going now with a not guilty verdict.
Yeah. One of the things that I found interesting, and maybe you did as well, is Miss Simone Hilton, with the prior plea deals, was the one reading. But when it came to King Slime, Adrian had to get up there. How did you feel about that display of camaraderie right there?
Well, I wouldn't say camaraderie. I mean, Adrian's the boss. Adrian loves the boss, and I'm sure she's the one that said, I'm going to be doing this. That was
tongue in cheek, by the way.
Oh, okay, thanks. It was painful for me to watch. It was painful for me to watch because I knew that she would take this as a victory over Jeffery and as a victory over Brian and Keith, when anyone looking at it in reality, once that sentence was imposed, particularly, this is a victory for Jeff. And to have to watch Miss Love take a guilty plea from Jeffery, it hurt. It hurt me.
When we're looking at this case so far, what's one of the things that you're pointing to where you just know good and damn well we got them as far as what they've presented, not anything you have planned? I don't want to do that one.
Yeah. Well, I think so far, now there's more to come. There's more to come.
About 90 some witnesses.
I think so far we're winning on the murder. I mean, does anyone think the state's winning on the murder? I mean, I don't. Other charges will be more challenging, obviously. The racketeering charge, because the way Georgia's statute is written is challenging, but I don't think they've shown a gang. I don't think the state has shown a gang. I think the state has shown a bunch of guys that maybe hang out together and know each other, but I haven't seen any activity in furtherance of that gang, alleged gang. I haven't seen, it's not what you think of as a gang. And this business about a hybrid gang, give me a break. I can't talk about a lot of it because of the way witnesses are coming, but I just don't think I don't think they've established the RICO. I don't think they've established the gang. And I definitely don't think they've established the murder.
So when we're looking at it outside looking in, we're obviously not hip to moods in the courtroom.
Yeah.
But as far as the mood that you've gotten as of late with Whitaker, how's that mood? Has it transferred around the whole entire courtroom, or is it just amongst the attorneys, in your opinion?
Oh, I think the mood of everybody, as far as the mood has completely changed in the courtroom amongst everyone that's in there. And I don't know, you've been in since Whitaker's been there, right?
I was trying to play dumb, but yeah.
I think you have.
I've been in there about 4 times. Yeah.
The mood has changed since Judge Whitaker's taken over, because certainly the attorneys on both sides are dealing with a new sheriff in town, and the defendants know that, so they see it. People sitting in that courtroom, like Yak's mom, see it. You can't help but see it. So it's changed since then. The most interesting change to me in the courtroom is the difference in the energy, the aura, the vibe in the courtroom when Miss Love is in there and when Miss Love is not in there. It is a completely different feeling. It is, when she is not there, it is more relaxed, more collegial. Just like, I feel like we're in there like this, like tight, like, and when she's not there, we're just like, okay, yeah, here we go. It's more normal. That's the best word for it. More normal when she's not there. Yeah, you can see that. Yeah, I'm glad y'all can see it. It's a delight. When she's not present.
There's a couple of super chats real quick. Doug, did you or Max ever see any plea deal from the state? Yeah, I would say
yeah, because they put it on the record, so I can say we saw one. I believe the one they put on the record was for Diamante was 20 serve 15, and plead guilty to
manslaughter, I would assume.
Voluntary manslaughter for the death of Donovan Thomas, and I think the RICO charge and a gang charge. And then 20 serve 15, so he would be out of prison in about 11 years if we took that.
Yeah, hell no.
If he is convicted of all these charges, he is in for life plus 50 years.
Winnie Lee gonna get up there tomorrow. Free act. Yeah. That's funny.
Winnie Lee is gonna get up there tomorrow.
Tell Doug, hey Sadie, tell Doug to put this on Shannon's books. They want you to put $10 on Shannon's books.
I can't do that. But
I was gonna say
sentiment.
Tell Doug to put this on Gotti's book, $10.
Do it either. Sorry.
What about the second ex parte meeting?
Okay. So what they're talking about is there's the big ex parte that we all fussed about that was on a Monday. The previous Friday, we learned that there was another ex parte meeting. And the judge was like, well, you guys, she said something in court, so you guys should have known about that. Whitaker said this. You guys should have known about that. And I take issue with that because there's a lot of times in that courtroom where we're like, Judge, I need to just talk to you for a minute about something when court's over. And it's not generally not really related to this. It's like, hey, I have to go do this in another court. It's not really related to the trial. So when I don't know who it was that said it, because we're really taxing my tired memory. But like, I think it was Love maybe, or Hilton, that said, I need to talk to you, Judge. We didn't really, our ears didn't perk up that was going to be something important related to Mr. Copeland. So I don't really think it's fair to say we knew about it and didn't say anything. So therefore we have to eat that one. That's what I think about the second ex parte.
I'll be fair, because I died on this hill. I didn't think nothing was wrong with the ex parte meeting with him at first, but the way in which he went about it afterwards, yeah, that definitely threw me all the way off, because I'm like, bro, what the hell is this? So I had a lot of lawyers come after me for that one.
Well, you're not that much different from what Judge Krause said when she recused Judge Glanville. She said, and this was dicta, meaning stuff in her opinion that really doesn't carry any legal weight, but she said something to the effect of that ex parte may not have been improper. But what he did, what got him thrown off the case? It wasn't the ex parte. It was the way he handled my motion to recuse.
Yeah, it was the way in which he became.
He became
Take your victory lap. My bad.
Yeah, no. You're right. You're right. That's what it was. So he wasn't thrown off. I'm sure you've told people this. He wasn't thrown off for the ex parte. He was thrown off by not handling my motion properly. But that's too detailed for most people. Most people.
I'm not. Listen. I'm not one to gloat, but yeah, I definitely told them, and they were still mad. And then I had to come out and make an apology for doing the same thing Glanville did, because I didn't factor people's emotion into this, because emotion trumps logic every single time. So that's where I was wrong at, because of the way I'll just be fair. When I'm right, you're gonna know I'm right. It is what it is.
I'm good with that. What else?
So keep up the great work, free Yak and SB. What was the feeling in the courtroom when Jeffrey decided to enter the blind plea? Were y'all surprised, and did y'all have a feeling on how Whitaker would rule?
I felt like I had to throw up. I was really, that's no exaggeration. I was nervous. My adrenaline was cranked. It was the most high stakes thing I've ever seen in a courtroom. Jeffrey had to have brass balls to make that move, because Judge Whitaker could have put him in prison for 25 years. She had that power. You don't know what the judge is going to do. The thing that I guess made Jeffrey decide to do this was an unusual blind plea in the sense that the judge knew what the state had offered in plea bargaining. Normally, the judge does not know that. And normally, if you try to introduce it, the judge doesn't want to hear it. In this case, the judge knew it. So the judge knew that in plea negotiations he had been, but that doesn't make it less ballsy, okay? That doesn't make me any less nervous while it was going on. Did I know he was going to do it? I thought he was going to do it the first time he came out, which is why Judge Whitaker said, I understand we're going to have a non-negotiated plea now. And then Jeffrey kind of sat there silent for 30 seconds, and we adjourned for 30 minutes and came back. And when he came back, I didn't know whether he was going to do it or not. So until he told the judge yes, I didn't know if it was going to happen. Now, some judges, I want to say this too, some judges in Fulton will let you do a blind plea, hear their sentence, and then elect to withdraw your plea. Judge Whitaker doesn't let you do that. So it was just a strong, courageous, a huge leap of faith in his lawyer for being able to argue for him, and a leap of faith in the judge that she would do a just sentence. And it paid off for him. And I'm super happy about it.
It says little Mike in them. I don't know what the hell that means. Ex-father Doug.
Little Mike. Oh, I don't know.
I have no idea. I think that's one of the ones who were not actually real. That
that's those are people Rudy made up.
Yeah.
Mike.
Oh yeah. That's
there needs to be like a Adult Swim animated cartoon about those two.
Yeah, no, that was one of the ones. I was there when he did that. And normally he gives like the nice headset. He was like, yeah. I was like, you gonna get us arrested, bro. But it's all right. They said, ask Father Doug his thoughts on Ashley Merchant.
Kick-ass attorney that I would love to represent me if I ever got into trouble, criminal trouble. Brilliant, works her tail off for her clients, pursues every angle to get the best result for her clients. I mean, look at her back there digging into, doing open record requests to dig into whatever bullshit the Fulton County DA's office is doing. She does a lot of stuff. She goes whole hog. She is fully invested. So she's brilliant. I've only positive things to say about Ashley Merchant.
Yeah, she got that judge booty from Cobb for a while. So yeah,
Okay.
we definitely, and that was one of the ones where we as spectators, we've always thought, but for her to actually get it was insanity. So let's see, WWE and Thugger Ric Flair. Ooh, all right. Said he asked Doug, do he think it's a good idea for Thug to move out here to Cali? At least he can get a legal gang card. What?
I don't think he wants anything to do with a gang card, whether legal or illegal. Move
I
to
think
Cali.
he's talking about medicinal marijuana. I think that's what she's talking about.
Well, you know, I think getting the hell out of Atlanta is not necessary. I mean, I don't know him well enough to know how he feels about it, to tell you the truth. I haven't asked him. But you saw...
I know where he's going, and it's not California.
Okay.
I'll just put that out there. It's not California, and it's not Georgia. I won't reveal the state, but he's not going to California.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing, right? He's in Atlanta. He has a huge heart. I'm talking about before this. He's trying to help people in his old neighborhood, you know, do all this business. And look kind of where it gets him. I mean, they've been targeting him just because of the folks that are around him. So getting out of Atlanta, well, I think it's okay.
I think it's unfortunately, I think she said ganja card, not gang. All right, yeah. Yeah, that's kind of stupid. I don't want to call you dumb, but maybe can Moontunk appeal his revocation because his lawyers suck?
His lawyer did not suck. Oh my gosh. Now this may sound like a bunch of lawyers defending each other.
It is definitely going to, because I agree with her.
I understand, but his lawyer was coming off of being sick as a dog. I mean, he was not well. Moontunk, he only hired his lawyer for that. So Moontunk is looking at staying in jail, having no lawyer because they didn't have public defenders to represent these people back then.
Right.
There's still people sitting in jail because there weren't public defenders to represent them. So Moontunk was looking at a bunch of stuff. I don't think Mr. Wright sucked. I mean, he may not have been his top self because of his medical condition, but I don't think he sucked. But you know what? That's what we say. Like if I lose this case, okay? If I lose this case, Diamante can go out, hire another lawyer. One of the things that lawyer will say is ineffective assistance of counsel, okay?
Right, yeah.
And they'll say, you know, they'll put me on the stand. Mr. Weinstein, how long were you a criminal defense lawyer before this case? And they'll talk about all the shit I did wrong. And you know what? That's fine with me. That's fine. Anything that will help him. I'm not going to lie, but I'll get up there and tell the truth. And if they want to throw me under the bus, throw away. I'm fine with it. Some defense lawyers will fight you on it. I'm not going to fight anybody on it.
Okay.
He could file a habeas, I guess. I don't really know, to tell you the truth. I don't know.
Doug, what happens with Steele next? His due process rights were violated.
You mean, the Supreme Court overturned the contempt finding. He's not going to jail. So as far as this case, he doesn't need to do a thing. What happens with him next? I mean, he can't do any crazy old thing like file some civil suit for messing with him. That just isn't going to go anywhere. So he'll move on and he'll deal with his other clients that have trials coming up, I'm sure.
He can get back to love and law. And how did you feel about, because there was a rumor, and I don't know if you can say yes to this because you don't know, but there was a rumor, a very interesting rumor that said that the vehicles that the state seized, some of the DA were driving in these vehicles. Is that true or you don't know?
I don't know the answer to that. There's some other things that may come up about the vehicles that were seized, but I don't know anything about any DAs driving these vehicles.
Okay. Because
I know it was horseshit for the state to try to take his $8 million in seized jewelry and bring the sentencing and bypass the civil forfeiture case, which is the appropriate way to take that.
Right.
And the judge.
Yeah, that was interesting for Rachel to point out, and she just flamed the hell out of Adrian for that one.
I love it.
And I think Rachel's aura is on me because, you know, when I come in, Love turns around like,
you know, it has to be hard. It has to be hard for her, for Simone, to be the subject of such vitriol. I don't think Simone has really earned that. But regardless of whether you've earned it or not, it's kind of suck to have so many people that hate you. I try not to hate anybody if I can. But it's kind of suck to have so many people hate you. Because I can tell you on this side, it's nice to have so many people support you, except for the people that tell me I'm part of the problem, but that's okay.
I'll say this, for a client who was born with so many health deficiencies, do something so egregious, then you know that they're never getting out of the prison system. They're just going to something that's actually way worse. And for a father to tell you, my child is going to die in jail, and then his child dies in jail.
Yep.
But only because you called his family a liar, though you had all the health records.
Yeah.
I think you get what you deserve.
I am not disagreeing with you. And I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying it must suck. So I'm not disagreeing with you on that. There is an argument that her actions killed that man.
I don't think that's an argument. I think that's gospel, but okay.
I think that's y'all.
I'm not answering this super chat because that's pretty stupid. If this case was in Cali, it was think the feds on the way, essentially saying dual sovereignty. But I
don't think the feds want to touch this with a 10-foot pole. That's what I think.
Yeah. I think they really want. Somebody gonna clip that. I know for sure that's getting clipped. If this case was in Cali, would it be harder with the gang enhancement?
I don't know. I don't understand the question. I mean, that may not be that it's a bad question. It just may be I don't understand if Cali has some gang enhancement.
So with California, you'll get an extra 3 to 5 years, but that's regular because California doesn't really use the RICO statute that we have anyway. So gang enhancement will get you an automatic 3 to 5 years when you're essentially.
Do they have a separate gang charge like we do in this case?
Yeah, but it's called gang enhancement.
But do they have a law on criminal street gang activity, or they just lump it in as a gang enhancement?
I'm gonna assume they do. I never looked into it because I didn't want to. I kind of waited until I got out of California.
I mean, this case is hard because we have a mountain of evidence, and a lot of evidence is against people that aren't even in this trial. And we have to figure out what's going on. So that makes this case hard.
I think you'll like this one. If this trial becomes a movie, who would he want to play his character?
You know, I saw a good suggestion on TikTok. It was And I just like him because he's funny, which is someone suggested David Cross. Do you know who that is?
No, I never
He
know
was in
actors
like
by that.
Arrested Development.
Yeah. I can see that. Yeah,
I'm taller than David Cross, and I'm funnier, but
yeah, I can see that. I definitely can see that. Man. I think he's a lot more plump than you are.
It depends. I don't know what he looks like these days, but he's a funny guy. I don't know who should play me. The only one that I know for sure is I want Idris Elba to play Keith Adams. That's what I want to see. I know you don't see it, but you have to have a certain charisma. Keith Adams is very charismatic, and I want an actor that's charismatic to play Keith.
Yeah, Idris Elba is my height though, and how do you make that work?
Well, you just ignore that part of it.
All right,
because Elba can inhabit a character. I think he can do anything. That man is what? Is he English? And he's playing like a Baltimore gangster?
Yeah,
he can do anything.
I think Kill Kokomo could be played by Idris Elba.
People love that Kokomo. You know, he's a good guy too.
No, I like Keith. I appreciate Keith. He didn't like the Yankee hat, but whatever. Me and Brian got that together. So, does Doug think, regardless of the outcome, it will be overturned on appeal?
Hell yeah, I think that.
I think that's full blown.
Did I say that fast enough? Not regardless of the outcome. If we get not guilties across the board, there'll be no appeal. But if we were to lose any of the counts, hell yeah, this thing's being overturned on appeal. Not necessarily because of errors introduced by Judge Whitaker, but because of the errors that came in under Judge Glanville.
Impact on DK when Rich Homie Quan passed. What does that got to do with anything?
Well, okay. They want to know how he felt.
They said Jonah Hill could play you.
Maybe. He's a lot younger than me.
I think Tom Cruise could do it. If you remember Tropic Thunder.
Yeah, maybe so. I was suggesting Brad Pitt, but
I knew you were gonna go. I swear to you, I knew you were gonna go there.
The impact on I'm not gonna talk about how my client felt when certain things occurred, because that would.
But they said DK. They didn't even say your client. They said DK.
Yeah, I know. I'm assuming they mean Diamante Kendrick.
Oh shoot! Yeah.
His initials are unfortunate.
I'm used to calling him Yak. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't usually call him Yak because I don't know why. I just don't. Everybody calls him Yak, but
because you're an adult and you're not a rap fan of his.
Do you know why he's called Yak? Do you know why he's called Yak?
No.
You don't know that?
No.
He's called Yak because when he played football, he was a defensive back, and he was a maniac on the field. So they used to call him Maniac, and then they just shortened it to Yak.
That's funny.
It's true.
That's my father's nickname is Maniac, and they shortened it to Yak. That's funny as hell.
See? So I guess
I would have never put that together.
Yeah. Great ball player.
My name is Max Shard, and I represent Shannon Stillwell, who will play Max.
Yeah.
Jason Statham.
Max is buff.
I knew that when he grabbed my hand on that. I was like, yo, what the hell?
Yeah, I went to a baseball game with him, and he wasn't wearing his suit. He's a buff guy. He works out a lot.
How? Like, what the hell?
I think he probably does. I don't know when he does it. I take it back. Brian Steele works out like 4 a.m. to 7 a.m. or something insane like that.
I've caught him many a times doing squats. I've caught him many a times doing squats.
He'll do that to stretch. Yeah.
Yeah. Can you plan closing arguments for the end of February so I can come to Atlanta and watch it in person?
I can't plan it, but that's not a bad bet. That's not a bad.
Yeah,
bet.
I was going to ask you this. All the people that you guys have on your witness list, do you plan to use them all still or no?
I don't have an answer for that yet. That will I'm sorry, I'm looking at my email because I sent something to Max and that. Oh, he finally wrote me back. Okay. We're working on the jury instruction for tomorrow morning. Sorry, ask me that one more time. I apologize.
I don't even know what the hell I said.
Are you as tired as I am?
No, somebody just
witnesses left on the list. We're gonna have to see how things go because it's not just witnesses on our list. We have to figure out what witnesses on Brian's list we're gonna bring. We have a lot of work.
Right. Mekhi Phifer could play Adams. That's true. Yeah. Yeah. Mekhi Phifer, definitely. Yeah. I see that way more. Yeah. I had that one for sure. Can you ask him, do the defendants who pled guilty have any avenue of recourse regarding the behavior of the state? Avenues of redress.
The behavior of the state. I mean, I don't know what that means. They have certain rights to appeal their plea. They can try to withdraw it during the term of the court. They can file writs of habeas corpus regarding their plea. I don't know exactly what behavior of the state means. You know, if you watch all the questions that the state asks in the course of taking the plea, they try to button it up really tight so it's hard to get out of.
Mr. Weinstein, from your experience, if you know, how long does video recording systems record for? And how long is that footage retained?
So let me tell you something about that. I know that's Brian's McDonald's question.
I try to read it. I try to channel my inner Brian Still on that one. If you know.
You know, I'll tell you one thing about that. I had a big client in Taiwan that made these security systems with the recordings and everything. And I got to know a little bit about that industry. And I have never heard of a recording system that goes for, say, a period of time, like 2 weeks, erases everything, and then starts over. It's a moving window, of time. So, just like, deletes the oldest thing and puts the newest thing on. So this idea that came up at one point during testimony that they wipe it every 2 weeks and restart. I mean, it's possible, but it's not probable. What's more, well, I have theories on what happened. I'm not going to share them here.
I'll do a closing argument, and I don't think it'll be as good as yours, but
I'm going to do the closing.
Yeah, no, I'm just saying I'll definitely. If I'm being fair, I don't think you're going to get to the closing. I think there's more hidden Brady, and I honestly think this shit is going to get dismissed with prejudice. I just don't see it. I don't see. I'm a fan of patterns of behavior, and it just seems to me that Judge Whitaker is just kind of like, yeah, I'm not going to keep on doing this crap.
Well, after the 30th time it happened, did you think we'd get to a 40th? I don't mean to call you out now.
Yeah, I guess I'll be honest on that one. Yeah, I did. But
I mean, we're close to 50 now, and we're still pressing on.
Because I'll put it this way. She can definitely make it seem as though I like saying this word a lot, for the Vox Populi to understand where she's coming from. Mm-hmm. So I look at it that way. As far as when she explains it, I think she does a good job in explaining it, because I know that she knows she's talking to an audience. I will say this. I would have loved to come in there when Glanville was in there, because I know 100% he was watching my channel. But I don't think Paige goes home and watches my channel at all. She's looked my way at least 10 times, and it wasn't one of those
recognition or anything.
Yeah, I knew for a fact. Mm-hmm. Like they let me know. I know Brown watches the channel religiously.
Okay. Oh, Seth Brown does.
Okay. Yeah, Brown definitely watches the channel religiously
right now. And I'll just say, Infinity.
Hey, how's it going?
Infinity with the sunroof. So
just scratch my eye real quick.
He hammered that home. So
we're gonna let you go, man.
He was making faces during the plea.
Yeah, I see that.
I don't think you could see that on camera, could you?
We definitely could watch the balding spot in his head expand a little bit.
Hey, don't make me unite with him as a fellow balding guy.
He'll probably be at that bar dancing. We have his dance moves.
Hey, while I'm on here, I'm going to say something a completely non sequitur before I go, because I didn't get the chance to say it because you never asked me a question to let me say it. Because normally I get this type of question. You know, Diamante Kendrick has already pled to being in a gang, right?
Right.
Like 8 or 9 years ago, wherever it was. And so, just as an aside, I think it's total crap that they're charging him again with the exact same offense when he's already, paid his debt to society for that. That's all I have to say on that. But I wanted to say it.
No, anything else you want to put in
on your show, because you got a lot of people that watch. If that, it's un-American. Sorry to end on such a heavy note. Who's going to win the Vanderbilt, South Carolina game on Saturday? There's only one right answer.
Vandy looks good, but they let me down. I'll be honest, Vandy let me down, but I'll take Vandy on that. I'll take Vandy.
South Carolina's giving up 3 points. I'm going to bet Max on that. Max is a Gamecock.
Yeah, go Vandy. They're solid. They're definitely solid. I take Vandy on that one.
All right. Thank you for having me on, Seti.
Man, it was a blessing. It was a blessing. I appreciate it highly. Keep doing your thing, man. We're rooting for you, but we do have a bias towards you over here, so that part has already been said a multitude of times.
Well, if you utter my name in the same breath as Keith Adams, I am honored. So, all right,
man. Well, get yourself some rest. They want me to get off your case because somebody a couple of times has seen it. Man, he's got court in the morning. Let him go.
Oh, let me go and go to sleep. Yeah. It's okay. Yeah. I guess it's me, really. I'm looking pretty tired, right? But I wanted to talk to you, and I hadn't done it, and I felt a little bad, and I just wanted to do it because you've got great people, and these were good questions. And
no, I don't see one thing I didn't do, and I told Matthews the same thing. It's when you guys are ready, and that was that was basically what I told him, and I've told Steele that. I've told because they, you guys always give me I can say this crap because it is what it is because they swear that you guys don't know who I am, and it's always fun to just go, all right, cool.
You know who you are.
Yeah.
Why is it so important that YAK Gotti watch the plea deals? I wanted him to see.
I definitely wanted to ask that question.
I wanted Diamante to see that Mr. Nichols' plea, he didn't have all those bullshit factual acknowledgments that came in all those plea deals in late 2022 that everybody else took. YSL is a gang, blah, 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 blah. Nichols had none of that. And I wanted him to see that he didn't have to take factual acknowledgments and that, man, Bruce Harvey, that's how you plead somebody out right there. No factual acknowledgments. Let the state run their mouth about whatever they want to run it and be like, yeah, I don't agree with any of that. Here's why he's doing it. And this is a factual basis, not all that stuff you heard over there. I wanted him to see all of that. And once I told him that, he wanted to see it. So everybody could see Mr. Nichols in there pointing fingers. He's not doing these bullcrap factual acknowledgments. So anyway, that's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, thank you for whoever. I definitely, that was one of the ones that kind of got away from me. I 100% wanted to ask you that question because I wanted to know why did he bring him in there? Because that was interesting for him to see because we kind of didn't know what was going to happen. And then the state just essentially saying, well, he said all of these things. And all of this stuff in the
Bruce is like, no, that's not the reality. So Judge Whitaker was put out with me, irritated with me because she had to empty the courtroom while all the guys came out and then refill it up again. But you can't not do things because you know you might irritate the judge. You have to do what's right for your client. So that's okay. And again, like I said, I'm 60 years old. I don't really care anymore about anything like that.
Would you have went to jail with Keith Adams when he said, well, Judge, you're going to have to arrest me too?
I'd like to think I would have, but you never know until you're in that position, right? I can be all brave now and say, hell yeah, they're going to jail. I don't know. I was pretty angry. So maybe just emotionally, I would have said the same thing. And Keith meant that. That.
He definitely doesn't seem like he's the one to mince words at all.
Yeah.
But I did say when the time is right, me, you, EJ, travel one of these days.
We're there. We can do that. By the way, for those that liked EJ Apt and his cross-examination, he has a murder trial coming up starting the 18th of November. And I believe it's in Judge McAfee's courtroom. Judge McAfee, I believe, streams his courtroom just all the time. So, and I think he has a YouTube channel. You can double check on that, SETI, if you want.
Yeah.
I can check on it. But if so, you guys can watch Jay in action for a week on a murder trial, November 18th.
We'll definitely cover that. We'll put it on the Clips channel for sure.
Yeah, because he will be in full EJ Apt mode, I am sure.
And I would like everybody, please tune in. Unfortunately, well, I wouldn't even say unfortunately because I don't want to sound any kind of way. Please tune back into Law and Crime Chat. If we can get this up to what it says on my screen, 5,200 people in here. Even though on the YouTube it's showing 4,000. If we can get you guys in there to support, like they told y'all, they pay attention to what's going on because these lawyers don't have all the answers and it's 1.5 million things flying. So some of the stuff that you guys are able to point out, there's definitely light bulb moments. Am I accurate in my assessment?
100%. That's how we knew about some of that stuff said on the stand that we couldn't hear in court. So it happens. It happens. So we watch the feed. And
you probably should have not said that one right there.
Also, the support is big. All right.
All righty. Well, get yourself some rest.
Feed myself, and I'm going to go to sleep.
Appreciate you. I'll be back soon. I'll probably be back in a couple of weeks.
All right. Good.
I'm probably had a lawyer up though from the shit I said before. So, yeah.
You and me both. They're going to file a bar complaint against me after tonight. See you guys.
All right. Blessings. Oh man, I appreciate you all for being here. That man, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. As far as the lawyers go, and we'll talk a little bit more about the case. As far as the lawyers go, I have a good rapport with all of them, and I know that some of this, sometimes on this channel, I do seem a bit braggadocious, but it's kind of hard not to, right? You guys have made me a visual face for you all in here. So, in all candor, thank you all for being here, even if at times you don't like what's going on. So if you can do me a fair one, if y'all can all hit the like button so that everybody else who did not watch this can get the message to show up to Law and Crime Tomorrow. If you all, and that's the only reason why I'm asking you guys to like the video. It's not for me. It is to push the video into the algorithm, but it does more great than good. So if y'all run the likes up on this, this will be a siren for everybody else to show up. Yeah, they're going to be there. The jury's scheduled to be there at 9. I hope I was able to give you guys a good interview. I don't know if if I was. He definitely carried the stream for us. He definitely carried the stream for me and all that. And whoever sent that super chat, thank you so much, because I completely forgot to ask that question in particular about him bringing Diamante on there. So I just want tell y'all, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I appreciate it so much. Thank you. It's Jess for stepping in on the moderator part. I don't know how much she's going to charge me for this. On the $1,000 giveaway, we're still going to do it, but it's kind of late in the day, and some of the people who qualified are not here. So there's that. Can you save this live, please? I caught the last of it. Yeah, I'm going to save it. Yeah, I'm going to save it. I didn't want to ask him, was there other states that he practiced law in, but I'm going to assume Georgia and Florida. So, yeah, an amazing job, Seti. Thank you. If y'all have any super chats that y'all want to get out the way, could have at least 2,000. Thank you, Carla. Thank you to all the moderators, not just Jess, but I know that she just came in last minute and started sniping. And she has a lot of stuff that she's doing. She does tremendous work for our country and an immensely admirable person. Am I in the contest? I will let you, everybody who's in the membership, yeah, you're automatically in the contest. If you're a member, if you're membership wise, you're automatically in the contest. You don't have to worry about that part. But what I wanted to do was get the Xbox and the PlayStation. And then once we do the $1,000 giveaway, I can show you guys how to win the Xbox or the PlayStation. I love giving free stuff away. I'll be honest. So the check didn't clear again? Sure. The check didn't clear. That's, yeah. Well, I could just drop the Rollo interview, and that's going to do probably about like 500,000 views. So there's that. When he asks you, what? When he asks you who you thought turned the TV off, you should have said it came from the care over there and pointed. What's up with Woody? Man, he cool. He got a Danza project interview that just dropped that I know people are gonna love. I think Woody gonna end up being a pastor. Call me crazy. I think Woody is gonna be a pastor. Honestly. If you're a member, you can watch the Rollo interview already. I just haven't read the paperwork on it, but he shouldn't be so emotional. It's hard not to. So should we log in the long crime and we can watch it from any live stream? You can watch it from any live stream. If your phone is on, thank you, Otis Harris, for the $20 super chat. He gonna run with the, you think Gunner is a snitch? Initially, yeah. I'm not gonna change my stance on that. Initially, yeah, but I need to have some conversations with some people that I know ain't gonna BS me. Can you share a list of who made it? Trust me. Those who made it, yeah. Woody set up a camera at church and left out the back door, which I think. I just think Woody's gonna be a freaking pastor at the end of the day. I don't think Woody. I agree with you about Woody. Yeah, I think Woody has enough, I don't want to say sense. I just think he's passionate about God and a second chance and doing stuff and everything. It just seemed like Youngin had a lot of stuff going on mentally, and I don't think he knew how to essentially encapsulate it the right way. But there's no way that I think that dude ain't on his way to be a pastor. I don't think he's going to be a motivational speaker. I don't see that. I don't know. He's passionate about God. So as far as how I see Woody, I think Woody's on his way to be a pastor. I could be wrong, though. But he definitely shows up every Sunday to church, no matter what he's doing. He doesn't drink, so there's that. He doesn't smoke, he doesn't drink, so there's that part. Woody was the big fish, and the state had no idea. I don't know. Did you see Glanville on here? Yeah, I seen the fake Glanville on here. And nothing wrong with being a pastor. I never said it is, but I'm just saying I think Woody is very passionate about God. AV and lead attorney need to stream it as well. Well, they stream it off Long Crime. Seti, I just seen you as a rapper. I'm a dope rapper. What you mean? I be rapping in multiple languages. I agree about Woody. Yeah. I just think you go where your passion is, and I really think that that's what it is. So, yeah. And I'm gonna be fair, the way that he handled the stuff with Charleston White, I think that kind of showed y'all how he's grown. I was trying to get that gun and snitch question to Doug. Yeah, you were never gonna get me to ask Doug that question. That doesn't even make sense, bro. Like, that really say. But anyways, y'all have a great night. Those who didn't watch the live stream, it will be up. And I'll catch you on the next one. Oh, subscribe, turn that bell, stay notified, and share to keep your people aware. And when we do the $1,000 giveaway, I want to just have the Xbox and the PS, whatever. What is it? PS5, PS20, PS30? I don't know. I still got a PS2. So yeah, I don't know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. So yeah, but I appreciate you guys for liking the interview. I do interview rappers on the other channel, so we definitely will be interviewing rappers and entertainers and anybody who wants to big up their whatever they got going. Whatever they got going. If you are watching from Twitter, aka X, I appreciate you all. We got like 2,000 people over there watching as well. So man, y'all have been amazing. I ain't gonna lie. I got a power hour in before we got this stuff started. Doug was dope, like I knew he would be, but I'm glad that we Jerome Street, I'll email you and match the $1,000. That'd be crazy. Yeah, that would be crazy. But yeah, Seti, what other channel? It's called Seti Nash Clips, and then there's Seti Nash Reloaded. And I think the Reloaded channel is the channel that will do breakdowns of like other cases. Because this is primarily, you're not a member. This is primarily a rap news channel. So I know people think that we blew up because of the Young Thug trial. No, that's not true. We've had tens of millions of views before that. The Young Thug trial, as far as I know, the videos on that, well, really the Woody video was the one that kind of blew up a lot. But if we go and we just go to the popular videos, go home, popular videos, yeah, that's gonna be Jook and Lil Durk. So, and the case with Young Dolph, that's really what blew the channel up. But hey, I don't mind it as long as y'all here. As long as you get here, you get here, you get here. I'm gonna put some clips together and drop them out throughout the night. And then, hey, I'll catch you guys tomorrow. So please, please understand, you're gonna see the title is gonna be Young Thug Trial Continued or Continues or Young Thug Trial and blah, 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 because Thug is still in the algorithm. But please know, nobody here believes that Shannon Stillwell and Diamante Kendrick got rid of Donovan Thomas. I don't think anybody. If somebody can drop the link for the Seti Nash Reloaded channel, please. So, yeah. Y'all have a good night. The Penguin is coming on, so I got to go watch that. And then I have a huge day tomorrow. We will be in the back of the U-Haul, like they say, tomorrow. So we'll be in the back of the U-Haul tomorrow. If you have super chats, you have cash apps real quick. Let me see if people had those. Nope. No cash apps. Cool. Hey, even better. All right, y'all have a blessed one. I'm about to watch Penguin, and enjoy your night.